In your notebook, write today's date, 9.3, find the special products of polynomials. The square of a binomial, find the product. So copy question number 6. The first common mistake that I have seen students make will be they usually apply the 2. Please do not do that. Now the difference between when you can take the 2 and distribute to the inside will be something like this. For example, if I have something like 7t and the power of 2 is on the outside of the parenthesis, then you can apply the 2 to inside. So I can get 7 gets a 2 and t gets a 2. And that'll give me 49t squared. Now this is different. In this case, inside the parenthesis, you are multiplying. In this case, inside the parenthesis, you are either adding or subtracting. So please do not give the 2. So what you have to do is you need to break it apart as t minus 7 and t minus 7. Writing it once, writing it twice combines to give you just the power of 2. And if you want a simpler version, I can give another example of writing 6 squared will be the same as 6 times 6, rewriting it twice. So the same exact thing, you break it apart and write it twice. Please do not distribute the 2. If you're confused, watch this example again. I can only give the 2 providing they are multiplying. If they are not multiplying, I cannot distribute the 2. So once you get that concept in your mind, now you can go for the table method. So using the table method, I'm going to write this as t minus 7 going vertical, and that takes care of these two. And I'm going to write t minus 7 horizontal. The dot implies I'm multiplying, and this looks more like a tic-tac-toe. So I'm going to multiply t times t to give you t squared minus 7t. Minus 7 and t multiplies to give you negative 7t. Negative 7 multiplies t to give you negative 7t. Negative 7 multiplies negative 7 to give you positive 49. So once you get the step, this is your answer. You got to see if there is anything that you can combine. So highlighting it to show you that I'm going to combine negative 7t and negative 7t. So these two I cannot combine, so I'm going to write it as t squared. Negative 7 and negative 7 combines to give you negative 14t plus 49. And this will be the answer. Now copy question number 14. So if I use the table method, you can use either the table method or you can use the FOIL method. Whichever method is convenient for you, you can use it. So using the table method, I'm going to write 3x minus 1 going vertical, splitting them apart, and the next two terms I'm writing them horizontal, splitting them apart. 3x and combines 3x multiplies 3x to give you 3 times 3 is 9, x times x is x squared. 3x times 1 is going to give me 3x. Negative 1 times 3x is going to give me negative 3x. Negative 1 times positive 1 is going to give me negative 1. So once you get this step, this becomes part of my answer, unless I can combine them. So I'm going to combine this and this because they are the same x. So 9x squared, there is nothing else to combine. Negative 3 and positive 3 combines to give you 0x. So 0 times x is going to be a 0. So I'm just going to ignore it. They both cancel out, and minus 1 will be the final answer. So don't panic. Instead of 3 terms, you're just getting only 1 term. There's also a formula that you want to memorize. So write this down. So there is one formula that goes a minus b times a plus b gives you a squared minus b squared. So write this formula and memorize this, and you will use it later. Now copy question number 18. This is an EOC kind of a question. They are asking you to find the product, which is the clue that is given, and you got 5n minus 3 the whole squared. Now this is a tip I was telling you before. Do not distribute the 2. So the only condition you can will be if you have something that looks like 5n, and where in this case is just 1. You don't have a minus, you don't have a plus. So if you do have a minus or a plus, you cannot give the 2 to the inside. So what you're going to do is you're going to rearrange it to write it as 5n minus 3 once, 5n minus 3 twice. Then you're going to use the table method. So using the table method, I'm going to write 5n, negative 3, going vertical. So this and this is taken care of. 5n, negative 3, going horizontal. This and this is taken care of. And now I'm beginning my multiplying. 5 times 5 is 25. N times n is n squared. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15 and tags along. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15 and negative 3 times negative 3 is going to give you positive 9. So once you realize your calculations are done, this becomes part of the answer unless you need to combine them. So I'm going to look to see if there are any terms that I could combine. I'm looking for an n and an n. So let's look at this. So you get 25n squared, which cannot be combined with anything. Negative 15 combines the negative 15 to give you negative 30, n tags along, plus 9. When I'm talking about combining the terms, I'm only talking about combining the numbers. The variable just tags along. Now copy question number 32. So this question you're going to rearrange it to write it as minus x minus 2y once, minus x minus 2y again. Now really you got to be cautious. Do not distribute the 2 if you have a plus or a minus inside. Chapter 8 talks only about products. So please do not distribute if you have a plus or a minus. So now we're going to break it apart into 2 chunks. So the first one I'm writing it vertical, one below the other, breaking it apart. So this and this break apart, write it one below the other. Dot implies some multiplying. Now this and this I'm going to break it apart and I'm going to write it horizontal. And now you need to multiply. Negative times negative gives you a positive. X times x is going to be x squared. Negative times negative is going to be positive 2. X times y is going to be x, y. Negative times negative is going to be positive 2 tags along. Y times x is just going to be x, y, one beside the other. Negative 2 times negative 2 is going to give you positive 4. Y times y is going to give you y squared. Got to be really, really careful in your positives and negatives and in writing the variables. So now you're looking to see that you can combine this and this. And this is part of your answer. These 4 terms are part of your answer. And the last step is you're trying to combine anything that looks alike. The 2 highlighted ones look alike. So this is separate. I cannot combine with anything. I'm just going to write it as it is. And positive 2xy, positive 2xy, positive 2 plus positive 2 gives you positive 4. X, y just tags along, plus 4y squared. There is nothing else to combine, so you're just going to write it as it is.